Morning. Anyone here?
No.
Oh, breakout room.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As American entertainer Milton Berle once said, if opportunity doesn't knock, build the door. To our esteemed guests, Mr. Azlan Aziz, to our exalted lecturers, Ms. Farina Tazijan, Ms. Nur Maizura Lin, and Dr. Suffian Hadi Ayub, to the event committee members, to the students of LG 2435B, CAFF 2312B, and ADV 558, I bid you all Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, good greetings, and Salam UiTM di hatiku. Welcome to our forum program. Praise be to Allah, as it is by His ceaseless grace that we are able to gather here today to partake in His infinite font of knowledge through our own Career Talk Forum, the Professional Etiquette in the Workplace webinar. For everyone's information, this Career Talk Forum program will discuss the proper professional etiquettes within the workplace, give insight on the skills most necessary for job searching, the intricacies of career broadcasting and content creation, as well as the job interview process from the point of view of a top media manager. It is the hope that this program and these points will enrich the minds of our esteemed attendees through providing indispensable knowledge on the ins and outs of career employment. Ladies and gentlemen, with our greetings out of the way, our Career Talk Forum, the Professional Etiquette in the Workplace webinar, can officially begin. I shall now pass this session on to my right honorable peer, Radia Auni binti Ruzain Wilson, to serve as our forum moderator. Radia, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Akil. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Azlan bin Aziz. And how are you doing today?
Hi, good morning. Assalamualaikum. Doing quite okay. Thanks for inviting me. Tak sangka dijemput kembali ke UiTM untuk, supposed to speak English. Wasn't expecting to be recalled by UiTM to give a talk today, but inshallah, thank you again for the invitation.
Thank you so much. Great. It's great to hear that you're doing well and welcome back to your UiTM. Your service is always accepted here. So thank you so much for taking the time from your busy schedule to be with us here today. So now before we begin, I'll introduce our speaker for today. I'm sure everyone is so excited to know about him. So Mr. Azlan Aziz is currently the Group General Manager, Group Corporate Communications and Group Chairman's Office of Media Prima since 2013. He currently leads the group's corporate communications, government relations protocols, and social corporate responsibility functions at Media Prima. And alongside that, Mr. Azlan also scopes and bridges communications between the group chairman and management. All right, that's such a wonderful intro. We have such an amazing speaker. So let's not waste any time and jump straight into the questions. I'm sure all of us are eager to get to know about work life, especially with the fact that we're starting our internship soon. Oh my God, so nervous. So first question, Mr. Adlan. What skills do you consider necessary for students in the current employment market, specifically in the fields of broadcasting and content creation, since that's your major? And can you provide tips on how to develop these skills?
Okay, thank you again, guys, for having me. First of all, I need to apologize because I'm supposed to be joined by my colleague, Encik Iskandar. Unfortunately, he just WhatsApp me, his tire ran flat. So, benda yang tak diduga. So, he's right now dekat bengkel kereta trying to fix his flat tire. But he will try to join if he can get it done on time. So, on behalf of Encik Iskandar, I do apologize to all students here. Okay. Before I answer the questions again, let me just give a little bit background about who I am. Like you said, I'm with Media Prima. I think and I hope everybody knows about Media Prima. Everybody's aware what Media Prima does. I think yes, some understanding lah kan. Okay, basically just a quick introduction. We are the leading media company in Malaysia. We have 4 television stations. we have TV3, the #1 station in the country. We have TV9, and we have 8TV and TV7. I know your generation probably do not watch too much TV, but hopefully kalau you pergi, if you go to kedai mamak or anything, dia pasang TV is probably our channel lah. Okay. Also inside our group of companies, we have 4 radio stations. We have Hot FM, we have 8 TV FM, we have Fly FM, and if there's any of my country mates from Kelantan and Terengganu, we have Molek FM, which caters for listeners in the East Coast lah. Okay, and then we have 3 newspapers. We have Berita Harian, Harian Metro, and the New Straits Times. I forgot, we also have Tonton. If you guys are into online content, we also have Tonton, which is under our stable. And then we have our Primework Studios. This is the platform that does all the big movies lah. For example, maybe you have watched Agent Ali, the movie. That was from Media Prima. Or the hit blockbuster Pulang, yang Remy Ishak, that's also from Media Prima. And then we also have our outdoor advertising. If you go on the highways, you can see Big 3 Outdoor. That is also part of our group. So we are a fully integrated media company, meaning that we have all the media platforms under the sun, from digital. If you're familiar with Ref Media, things like Bulan, SAYS, that is also part of Media Prima. All right. So with that introduction out of the way, let me go to your questions. This is a bit difficult questions, but let me try to answer. What skills do you consider necessary for students in the current employment market, especially in the fields of broadcasting? I guess the #1 thing that we look at when it comes to broadcasting is your ability to communicate, basically your writing skills. Because most of the times we are heavily into content, and the biggest part of the job is basically to make sure you are able to #1 write the content that we require. Right? Broadcasting is very broad. We have television, we have radio, and nowadays we also are on digital. That means TikTok, YouTube, what have you lah. So basically, the skills that we look for, #1 is personality. If you're into wanting to follow the footsteps of Ali Iskandar, so #1, you're looking at personality, you're looking at voice control, and things like that lah. Okay. If you're looking more like me, tak suitable masuk TV, so you'll be on the corporate side. So this is where when it comes to more writing, more knowledge on the industry, public speaking. So those are the kind of traits that we look at. And in terms of tips, there's not much tips that I can give you. It's mostly general knowledge. What you need to do if you're into the field of, if you want to become a TV personality, you really have to learn on the dictation part, the speaking part, make sure how you speak is clear, the tone is right. So yes, we do often hold auditions. So make sure you follow us on TV3 social media, so that when we call for auditions, any one of you who are interested can come to our Sri Pentas studio and undergo the auditions lah. Basically, what we're looking for is the voice and the tone. We will provide you the training so that you can become a broadcast journalist lah. Yeah. So again, have a good personality. So that's what we're looking for. If you come to our auditions, we're looking for people with the right personality. You have to come in confident. Cannot be too timid. So those are the kind of traits that we can. It doesn't mean, sometimes I get questions. Azlan, I'm an introvert. Am I suited for the job? Yes, you are suited for the job. You don't need to be an extrovert to be in the TV or broadcasting business. I know a few newscasters that I met meet regularly. They don't have that outgoing personality, but they do have the voice, and they do have the characteristics that we look for. A bit of warning for those who want to enter into this industry. It's a very, you have to put in the hours lah. It's a very long hour punya kerja lah. For example, my colleague Iskandar, he used to anchor Malaysia Hari Ini. So Malaysia Hari Ini used to start airing at 7 a.m. in the morning. So you just imagine you have to come to studio 1 hour before the show starts, and then actually anchor the show, and then prepare for the next day after the show. So it really takes a bit lah if you want to come into this field. Commitment tu kena tinggi lah orang kata ya. Alright. So I don't know whether I answered your question. If you have anything, just jump in and ask me lah. I tengok semua mic is on mute, so I don't know whether it's a one-way traffic, but if you guys want to ask questions, go ahead.
Opening the floor to questions. Anyone has questions, or would you guys like to? I believe that everyone wants to keep it at the end because you'd like to merge all our knowledge together, you know. Okay, thank you so much for that insight, Mr. Azlan. Never knew that the broadcasting in the media industry, I would like to say that it's not constant because we're ever evolving, right? But the skills that you've highlighted are especially very necessary, especially with having to excel in your public speaking skills, no matter if you want to enter corporate or broadcasting, like Mr. Iskandar himself, speaking with correct tones and having proper knowledge of the industry so you can properly do your job, and especially being committed. I completely agree with that. It's such an honor to have you with us here today, and it's crazy how much the skills are especially highlighted in the broadcasting industry. So let's move on to the second question. Mr. Azlan, what are some examples of professional etiquette in the workplace, and how do you believe one can cultivate and maintain a professional image in the work environment?
I see. Okay. Whenever I recruit people, especially for corporate communications, especially fresh graduates, the key is because everybody have the same skills, and everybody graduated either in public relations or communications, so everybody comes with the same set of skills. But what we really look for is the way they present themselves lah. Okay, the etiquette part. Okay, contohnya lah. Sorry, I mix bahasa and English. I hope lecturer tak marah. Puan Farina, yang marah because in our line of work we use both English and bahasa. Okay. Tak marah ya, tak marah. Yeah, basically what we look for is somebody who is suited with our team. For Media Prima, it's a media company. So if you come to our Shipentas office, hopefully one day you can we can arrange you a visit if you're interested to visit our Shipentas. If you look at if you come to our office, you boleh nampak macam-macam personality ada. You got people wearing suits, ties. You got people wearing batik like me. Batik ni Muslim Raya. You got people wearing jeans. You got people. So there's a lot of characters lah in a media company. But everyone must display a good sense of professionalism lah. When it comes to professionalism, the basic fundamentals like, do you come to office on time, right? Are you disciplined? That means we're looking at you come to office on time. You don't go for 1 hour morning breakfast. You go for 2-hour lunches. All right. So those are the things that we look for. We look for punctuality. We also look at how you dress when it comes to based on your job function. If you're in the corporate office, you need to be professionally attired. If you're in the media line, we are much more flexible. Another thing that is important for us is the having integrity Because when we're in the workplace, we look at integrity very seriously, because there are a lot of issues related to corruption and whatnot. So those are the kind of things that we measure. When you come for interviews, we look at how confident you are when it comes to, are you prepared for the interview or not? So when we look at you, when we ask you questions about, hey, do you know about Media Prima? What can you tell me about Media Prima? So you must be able to be ready to answer. It's just not Media Prima alone. For example, if you are applying for a job in a bank, let's say you're joining Bank Rakyat, for example, or CIMB Bank, most often than not, the recruiters will want to measure whether you really interested to join that organization. For example, are you really interested to join Media Prima? So if the recruiter asks you, what are the television stations that you know belong to Media Prima, and you answer Astro Awani, so you're in quite a big trouble, because of course Astro Awani is the station belongs to Astro. Or if you say, oh, UiTM is one of the channels of Media Prima, so as a recruiter, we know you did not do your homework, so then that fails scale, right? So make sure you do your preparations early. You know what you're going to say inside when you go to the interview. So those are the things that, in terms of professional etiquette, we measure masa interview lah. We also look at you, how you dress for an interview, right? How you dress for an interview. If you make an effort to come to an interview in a professional manner, you come into an interview not just with a printed resume. What I mean here is that you guys, your generation, have so much tools at your disposal. You have social media, you have, for example, Instagram, TikTok, you have LinkedIn, which is more of a professional platform for you to show. Whenever I interview somebody, I will always ask them for these three things. I want to see your Instagram, I want to see your Facebook, and I want to see your LinkedIn. And sometimes your TikTok, I tak nak tengok cari Nadi and whatnot. I just want to see the kind of content that you put out, because as a media company, we look, content creation is our core business. Okay, so I want to see how you write, I want to see how you talk. So don't think what is all formal. We understand that when you go on Instagram, you are free to express yourself. Those are the kinds of things that we look for when we recruit. So make sure if you have, if you're in media, if you're in communications, you need to show all these things, have all these things ready, right? So don't just come into an interview with a piece of paper, resume, and your transcript from your university. Everybody has that. Kan, semua pergi interview will have those documents. What we want to see is your ability to create and curate content, right? So I know I'm not really answering your answer about professional etiquette. Basically, the simplest way to in terms of etiquette is dia tak lari sangat daripada universiti lah. For example, you have your lecturer here with you, so you all respect your lecturer, you all respect each other. So that's the same thing in the workplace. It's called professional respect. If you have that in university, you don't have to worry too much when it comes to when you join the workplace. Have the same mentality when you, especially in a good institution like UiTM. They train you well, tak boleh rambut panjang, tak boleh all that stuff. So you have that discipline already. You need to carry that forward when you go to the workplace. All right. So as I said, it's not really about looks. It's basically giving the right impression to when you join a workplace. If you have the wrong impression, if you project a wrong impression, because it's a perception game. If people perceive you as always coming in late, having discipline issues, that's already a fail. So focus on the good stuff, focus on try to avoid all those disciplinary things that you've been trained while you are at school, while you are UiTM. If you follow what you follow, if you already have the university, inshallah, when you go to the workplace, it's still the same. All right, I hope I answered your questions.
You really did. That was really insightful, Mr. Azlan. Thank you so much for the tips. I'm sure that helped some of our worries regarding our future interviews soon, like especially in professionalism. So everyone has the same skills, basically, like you highlighted, but it's always important to stand out. Like just pendekkan kata, sorry, a bit mixing here and there. So self-presentation skills are key. It's highlighted especially in the broadcasting and media industry. So for Media Prima, like you mentioned just now, there's a diverse range of characters. Just because you're an introvert doesn't mean that you can't work in the media industry, right?
Yeah.
So, but because everyone has such a diverse range of characters, basically when you go through a professional etiquette, when you're hiring someone, you highlight and you want to see their professional respect, integrity, discipline, and you want to know how interested they are by doing like background research on the company, which is of course really much required, and utilize all the tools possible, especially like our younger generation that you mentioned just now. We're so well versed in digital literacy, so we should be able to learn to curate and create quality content. Okay, so
I just want to
this,
interrupt you a bit. Sorry,
yeah,
Radia.
sure.
I think the introvert part, again, I'm stressing because I get a lot of interns, people who come to do internship with me at Media Prima. And if you guys are interested, you can get my email from Masterina. If you want to do your internship with us, so you can do. This thing about being introvert and extrovert, I get a lot from my interns who believe they feel they are introvert by nature. So they always come to me and try to macam rendah diri lah. I don't know the right word in English. But you shouldn't be. Introvert has a role to play in a corporate organization, yeah? So I don't think just because you are not an all-out person, if you have problems public speaking, there's always roles for you in a media company. For example, we need people to do research. We need people to do analysis, because nowadays it's all about data. Even when we broadcast something on television, for example, I don't know whether you guys watch drama Melayu, I hope you do, the 7 o'clock drama, right? It seems macam very random thing that you do, the storyline is always the same, but it is all data driven, because when we do our dramas, for example, when you watch our 7 o'clock drama, you might, dalam an analytical minds like yours, you are all students, you might be questioning, how come the plot is always the same? It's always the same Dato, the same falling in love with this, jealous that. These are all data driven. Yeah? It's the analysis that we do when it comes to the viewers, the test subjects that we research. Those are the content that people want. Yeah. So, for example, it's also when we do our news, for example, dalam bulletin utama or on our online edition of SAYS, we are looking at what is trending. So when something trending, that's what we want to show. That's how the media is now, is data driven. So again, not everyone is suited to be in front of the camera. I'm not suited to be in front of the camera, but there's always roles that you can play in a media company. So again, if you're an introvert, don't worry. And if you're an extrovert, jangan pula you rasa macam you decisive pula. No, we welcome both introvert and extrovert. There's roles for everybody. So don't look at whether you're an introvert. But I got Ellie now, so thank God Ellie's in. Maybe if he says a few words, okay. Is Ellie in? Let me check. I think he's trying to join. If he's in, you can say a few words. Ellie?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Ellie, hi. Thank God he's dying over here. Guys, this is Ellie Iskandar. He's my colleague from Media Prima. He's been in broadcasting with his vast experience. Let me get his profile.
No, it's okay. I'll do the honors.
Okay, I like the
All right.
UiTM
Hello,
folks
Mr.
too.
Ellie. We heard about your flat
I
tire. We're so
sorry,
sorry that
I got a
happened.
flat
I
tire
hope
all of
it's
a sudden.
resolved soon. I hope it's being resolved. I hope you're
Yes,
safe
yeah.
out
The
there.
car
Yeah.
already.
All right. How are you doing today? Aside from the flat tire.
I'm actually recovering from fever and cough, and my family having blood or due to this extreme weather kan. But yeah, hopefully be recovering soon lah, inshallah. So everybody take care and get enough rest and drink plenty of water. That's most
Will
important.
do. Will do.
Yeah.
Will definitely will, especially with how crazy the weather is. All right, so Mr.
Yeah.
Ellie, is it okay if I proceed with your little self-introduction? I'm sure everyone here is really excited to get to know you, especially since you're such a big presence in the broadcasting world. So everyone, please welcome Mr. Ellie Iskandar. He currently is the manager of Omnia Academy, which is a media trading company under Media Prima. So if you're interested, go ahead and sign up. You have Mr. Ellie as your trader, and with over 34 years of experience in the media industry, Mr. Ellie Iskandar was previously a news anchor and an executive producer at Media Prima. So he hosted and produced one of Malaysia's favorite talk shows. I'm sure we all grew up watching and listening to Malaysia Hari Ini and other notable programs such as Majalah 3, Syariah Meja Bulan, and recently Mandan Rakyat PRU 15. So, Mr. Eli, we were just talking about a little professional
Sorry, can I just interrupt? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Sorry, Mr. Ali is one of the hardest working persons I know. As he mentioned, he did MHI. He's the guy who wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe earlier. And after his show, he does his research. Sometimes he does an evening show called Soal Rakyat, which he interview famous people, politicians and whatnot. And he's ready to work again at 6 o'clock in the morning the next day. So he's one of the hardest working guys in the business. Everybody knows him. So if you have any questions, he's the right man to ask. Right? Sorry, I send back to you. I just thought I put that in. Sorry, Ali.
Okay, Jaylan, thank you for that. Jaylan is the other hardest working person on Media Prima.
I wish. I wish. Okay, sorry, guys. Carry on.
All right. Okay. So obviously, as we were just talking about professional etiquette, and I especially liked how Mr. Azlan actually highlighted that both introverts and extroverts have a place in Media Prima, So that was really nice. And we were just about to jump into like interview session because oh my god, we're starting our internship soon and we're like so nervous. So to Mr. Ili and Mr. Azlan, could you walk us through the interview process as like and from like the initial stage to attending the interviews, like what dress code is appropriate? Do you accept people from like let's say with absolutely zero experience, and what are some common mistakes you believe we should be avoiding during the interview process?
Okay, I think before we do that, can maybe Ali does a lot of recruitment for television. Maybe the question number one about what characteristics does he look for when to come up with the new. So maybe Ali boleh ni explain sikit what characteristics do you need to be in broadcast journalism.
All right. Number one, the most important thing is to study the market, to really understand the market, because sometimes you think that you have good grades in college, in university, you think that you can rely solely on your academic achievements, but that is not the case. Okay, you need to prepare yourself and understand, read as much as you can about the industry, about the market, about the media sector in Malaysia, and if you can do go beyond Malaysia is also good, because the more you know about the media industry, the more you realize why you want to be in the industry. Having that preparation is very important. And then to the specific company that you're attending the interview for, make sure that you know as much as possible about the company. I just want to share my experience over 20 years ago when I was called for an interview. I used to grow up, I grew up watching TV3. TV3 was part of my life, like the entire lifetime since the beginning of TV3 95. So growing up watching TV3, I tend to memorize all the names of the program, the time slots, the producers and whatnot. So whatever the product of TV3 back then, I was able to speak about it easily because that was my passion. Having to understand the company that you're going to be working with, hopefully, if you pass the interview, it's very, very that be the two things that you might want getting involved in. No, Sheila, do you want to add something else? Can't hear you.
Oh, your mic is muted, Mr. Azlan. Mr. Azlan, your mic is muted. I'm so sorry. Oh.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt early. Yeah, but again, those are, like I said, those are the characteristics that we look at. It's really, we want somebody with a good personality. Because any companies, when they recruit people, they want to make sure that somebody gels with the current team. We don't want to bring somebody in that will disrupt the harmony that's already inside. Yeah? So if you're young, fresh graduate, we all went through that. Myself, although I'm quite going on in years, almost retiring, we all have to do the mula-mula masuk dulu when you first join the workforce. There's a lot for you to learn. There's a lot of things you don't know, so you need to learn from your seniors. So those are the kind of things that we try to find. Are you somebody that we can teach? Somebody that's willing to learn. Yeah. So if you go in during an interview with you know it all and then susah, it's difficult because we want to find somebody that we can mold to fit what we need at Media Prima. Right. Yeah. So when you go for interviews, make sure, like Ellie said, do your homework because that's where we judge whether you betul-betul ke. Sorry, like saya cakap bahasa Melayu. Is it you betul-betul ke minat dalam kerja ni? If you come, because I know that I am guilty of it myself. Headhunter asked me to go for an interview. I pergi. I was not interested in the job. I go for the interview. They asked me about the company. I wasn't really sure. So basically, I'm wasting their time and also wasting my time. If we want to see betul-betul ke, are you really interested in the job? So that's where the questions that when they ask you about the company is key lah. So when you know that beforehand, you know the interview process, they will have the standard question. Can you tell me about yourself? Sometimes soalan tu pun pardon my language, soalan tu pun dah kantul. So you need to prepare for those regularly asked questions. Tell me about yourself. Right. The other questions is, why do you want to work here? What interests you about joining this company? What is your greatest strength? So those are the kind of things that you kena ada jawapan beforehand. Because if you fail on that one, I can promise you the rest of the interview will go downhill. Totally.
Yeah. Just to add to what Cik Lan mentioned, getting as much information is very important. It's just that you don't, because sometimes when you think you know so much, you become overconfident and you tend to show some arrogance. So you can balance between being a bit gung ho and confidence, because confidence is very important because they want to see a confident person for them to hire potentially. Tapi kalau if you come across as a person, you don't have to tell me I know this, I know that. I think I can make your company much more better than what it is right now. That one is a bit not advisable lah. There must be some sense of respect to the person who will be hiring you, and at the same time, you must show passion that you feel that why you want to be involved with the company, because there can be a very good synergy that can take place with you being on board on the company.
Yeah, agree with Ellie. too much confidence is also a bad thing, but lack of confidence. So you guys, don't worry if you did not do well in your first interview. It takes practice, and it takes real life practice. It's not something that you sit with your friends and pretend to do interview. It's the more interview you go, the better you are at it. Macam Eli lah, I'm sure his first broadcast isn't the best as his current broadcast lah, as a broadcaster kan. It's something you develop over time. And going into the interviews, make sure you have the right questions. The last thing I want to hear from as a recruiter, if you ask me, can I work from home or not? So those are not the things that inspire me to hire. Of course, most companies nowadays offer a work from home option for staff. It's 2023. It's not during my time when I graduated. But those are the questions that you keep to yourself unless they ask you. Another question that you shouldn't probably ask as a first question is how much is the salary? So those kind of questions are important. You should have an answer, but let the recruiter ask you, what is your expectation in terms of salary? Then you jawab. Because those are not the things that inspire us as a recruiter. If you were to be interviewed by Eli, you ask him about his experience as a broadcaster, as a host, as an anchor. So those are the things that inspire your recruiters, because you tahu lah, you're not in this for the money. You are more into this in terms of career development. So always have the right questions ready before you go into the interview. Okay.
Yeah,
there was a question about tire, was that right?
About, sorry, what, Mr. Eli?
I think the question was also about what to wear, how to dress properly.
What to wear, and is it like
what to wear is more
wrong to
Eli
ask
punya ni
feedback
lah.
on an interview?
Well, actually,
What to wear, and like about asking for feedback after the interview.
Okay. 2023 basically that attire thing is pretty much a no-brainer question lah. So as long as you know, okay, you wear something respectfully, you dress well, and not to the extent of dressing to show your true personality. Say that you're a gothic person, so you make up macam lebam, that kind of. So just to show your true self, that one may not be that appropriate lah. Although recruiters might want to see you being yourself, but not so much of you expressing your true self, because there must be a avenue where the company sees that, okay, this person is open enough to be accepted into the system of the company. You know what I mean? And so dress accordingly, appropriately, enough to impress and to make an impression is good. Me, if you come to me wearing like what Sheila is wearing batik, I think I'm impressed already. Because the fact that you effort, to wear something unique and represent Malaysia, it's okay. Yeah, jangan pakai yang menjeruk mata ke, something that's beyond the interview irrational lah. Otherwise, what people are wearing now on a daily basis at work, okay lah, for Media Prima, Media perspective context. Yeah. So feedback wise, I think if you I don't know, like in my time after the interview, I didn't ask for feedback, because after the interview it's all about redha. If that's your rezeki, you will be accepted. Yeah. Just face yourself, go into the interview and meet the interviewer. Be the best version of yourself. Yes. Right. After that, you got and pray till you get what you want. Yeah.
Tawakal.
Yes.
So I think if you don't mind, maybe we can receive some questions from the participants.
Yeah, sure. I will open the floor to questions. Yeah. So let's just recap for the third question for a while before opening the floor. So I'll just like to highlight that we should really be understanding the company that we want to work with. It's just so important. So we'll be good to go. Essentially, if we understand the company, we can show that we can harmonize in the workplace, we're willing to learn. And here's the killer for everyone. I'm sure it's really scary because even though we do so much research and we walk in with confidence, but overconfidence can be such a potential enemy because it might overwhelm not just us, but the interviewers because by then they want to see respect, the passion, and they want to be synergized with the people that they are interviewing. So if you are going to an interview and you are able to ask questions, so how about asking some questions about your interviewer's past experience in the industry so you can see where your career development is going, and make sure to dress to impress, but be the best version to yourself and have the right questions, have the right mindset going in. And yeah, let's open the floor to the questions. I'm sure everyone is excited to ask questions. So anyone, if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute your mic, or if you do not want to ask, you're scared to open your mic, it's okay, I'll be your voice. Type down in chat box.
Shouldn't be scared. We are friendly people. At least one of the friendliest persons I know. He's also a good basketballer. He plays basketball. So if you guys are playing basketball, ajak dia. One of the best in the game.
Cik Lan is way better than me.
Dulu. Questions, guys. Jangan malu tanya.
I think
Don't worry about asking questions. Yes. Hi.
Yeah.
Miss Maizura, I think you have some questions to ask.
Yes. So good morning and assalamualaikum to Mr. Azlan and Mr. Ali. Thank you so much for being our distinguished guest for this morning's session. So basically, I've got two questions. All right. My first question is, I know that the question like tell me about yourself is a very simple question and normally asks to fresh graduates, especially, or anyone who attends an interview. How do students actually tackle to this question? Because some students will be talking about their own personal lives, some will be talking about their siblings included, their family members and whatnot. So how do they tackle this question? Number one. And number two, and how do students overcome or fresh graduates overcome the nervousness when they attend their first interview? Yeah, could you share some tips on this?
Well, as a recruiter, when I ask you, tell me about yourself, basically I really want to know about yourself lah. So I want to know where you're from, I want to know where you go to school, I want to know your brother siblings, like I said. See, those are the kind of things that we're listening to what your answers are, but we want to gauge your personality. We want to see, are you an empath? Do you have empathy or not? For example, kat situ lah soalan-soalan yang senang, walaupun nampak senang. Because you want to see, say you went to school, where you go to school. So in our minds, we know it's a good school. All right, so we can measure from there. So even though it sounds like a simple question, we're trying to look at your train of thought. How you construe your sentences. Are you able to think on your feet? For example, when you ask that question point blank, you already know the flow of how you want to answer that question. It's not really the content that we're looking at. We are all I'm from Kelantan. Probably you want to ask Kelantan, probably won't recruit me. But it's not that matter. It's the way you speak, the way you create your sentences, your thought process. Those are the things that we look at. Cik Ali?
Yes. Thought process is very, very important. But nowadays, you may be an influencer who speaks very fluently on social media, but when it comes to interview, you become very, very timid. So your thought process is very important, like Cik Lan said. Okay. Another thing that to respond to the question, the first question would be when you are asked to tell about yourself, try your very best to tell about yourself in relation to the company that's hiring you. But whatever you mention, whatever you share about yourself, how does it add value or gives value to the company? So if you say you're from Kelantan, what makes the Kelantanese so interesting that the company needs it? See, that's why we have the chief corporate from Kelantan working with Media Prima. Because we think we need somebody from Kelantan who knows the state very well, you know. So So it gives value to the company. So whatever that you share about yourself, try to find a link between that specialty with the company. So it makes the interviewer find, wow, this guy is very interesting. So he value add to the company. Okay. The second question, nervous. Nervous tu biasa. Everybody gets nervous. I get nervous now, even on this session pun. But nervous is good. Nervousness makes you stay alert. It's always, having this adrenaline rush that you want to be able to manage yourself so that you can control your speech, talk, and things like that. Because if you're too laid back, you're too comfortable, sometimes you take things easy and you might not be focused. So take nervousness as an energy. Try to channel it well, so you become more focused. That's how I do it lah. Whenever I'm nervous, going on air ke, doing concert ke, whatever lah. So I think being nervous is something good for me.
And keep in mind, Ali used to interview prime ministers, famous actors, famous actress. So he knows the thing really well, how to manage your nerves when it comes to high stakes punya situation. But there are a few things that you can do to help you with your nervousness. Number one is before an interview, try not to. It works for me. It might not work for you. Whenever I have to do public speaking, I always stand, walk about a bit, kasi loosen the at least get some of the adrenaline out from your system lah. If you can shout, you shout. You do things that you can release your adrenaline stored in your body, so that helps with the nervousness. Number two, understand that the recruiter needs you as much as you need them. We won't be calling for interview if we don't need to hire you, right? So you have to know that when people call you for interview, it is for a position in the company. They need to recruit somebody. So you tak perlu nervous sangat because dia pun nak you pun nak dia. So it's a macam boyfriend girlfriend lah. Mula-mula tu nervous, but dua-dua dah tahu suka, cuma takut nak tanya je. So those are the kind of things similar for recruitment. The recruiters need you and you also need a job. So jangan takut, jangan risau. Both of you are in the same sphere lah, orang kata ya. So that will be my tip lah when it comes to nervousness.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. It's a long time ago lah.
I do have a question here. Okay, first, thank you, Mr. Azlan and Mr. Ali, for your valuable time and giving tips to us. My question is, my students always ask me, what about pointers? Does the company actually look at, you're supposed to be a 3-pointer, you're supposed to be in Dean's list. What about that? Does that carry any weightage?
Well, for me, when I recruit, it's nice to look somebody with an honors degree with a 3.3 or 3.5 CGPA. But it's not the be all and all, right? Personally, I can't say about anybody else. The grades is the last thing I tengok. As long as you have a transcript that you graduated from somewhere, that's not the first thing that I look at when I interview people. That's usually the last thing that I look at. Because most of you will have your degree already by that point of time when you come for an interview. Most of you are trained, if you're from UiTM especially, UiTM, you are trained by the best lecturers, the best professors. I know because I put UiTM, so I boleh plug in lah. My time is called ITM, belum U lagi. So yeah, so we know where your academic background. What we're looking at is it's more on will you fit in or not with my current team. Because I have a team of 10 people working with me. The most important thing is the personality. If you come in and disrupt my operations, that's not good for anybody. So grades are important, don't get me wrong. Dan tiba-tiba alah buat apa, buat exam lecture ni. Bukan cik Alan tengok pun. No, grades are still important. This is my perspective. I am more towards looking at your personality Your ability to write is very important to me. Your creativity, I will, like I said earlier in the session, if you come interview me, I will demand your Facebook, I will demand your Instagram. Even if you don't want to be my friend on Facebook, pun tak apa, just show me your Facebook. I just want to see how you communicate with other people. Maybe Ali, you want to tambah?
Yeah, grades would be one of the things that I will look at. But I will go beyond that. I will look at the subjects that you undertook, and then see and ask you about it lah, about the subjects, because when I interview people to hire, I want to know their technical abilities, technical skills, how much they have learned during during universities in college. We have to understand this, as much as nowadays we think that orang tak ada degree pun boleh kerja, boleh successful, boleh jadi kaya and whatnot. You know why you go through university is because university teaches you discipline. You know, you have to go through hectic schedule. You have to go through morning classes, night classes, and all that. So if you're able to go through all those things, you should be able to be in the workforce. Because although your grades may be not that impressive, your you know what you've gone through, that discipline, that hard work, that may pay off. Well, you know, because it will translate to manifest as you join the workforce lah. Yeah. So in other words, not to say that we don't look at the grades, we do look at grades, we look at personality, but grades is equally important as personality. Macam Cik Lan, maybe corporate com, personality is very, very important. Okay, from my side, if you have editing skill, you are good at script writing, you can front the camera well, benda tu jadi plus point. Tapi semua tu, most of them maybe you learn in school or in university. So I took that seriously when I interview people. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very insightful. Learned a lot. It's so interesting to see both perspectives, like from someone in corporate com and then someone from the broadcasting punya side. We actually do have another question from YouTube as well. So, Mr. Ali, Mr. Azlan, what are some key tips for maintaining professional etiquette in digital communication channels like email and instant messaging? And the second question from YouTube is, as an advertising student, what are job opportunities that are available in Media Prima?
I'll give this one to Ellie. Ellie, tolong.
Ya benar. Second question I tak ada.
Maybe the first one.
Okay. Macam ni. See, when Cik Lan requested to see your social media, you know, so it means that you, upon being hired, you are representing the media, the company. No, although you say okay, work and personal are different. Okay, social media is my personal account, but you still represent the company. Whatever you do, although it's beyond work, you still people see you as an employee of a certain company. So if you ask me about etiquette, maybe you might want to reconsider the things that you post, the things that you share, your opinions, especially about the company that you work with. Okay, so maybe you're not satisfied with your boss on certain things. Don't put it on social media. Try your best not to put it on media. Okay, because that one will reflect the company and you as a worker of the company, and also you as a person lah. So benda-benda macam tu lah. Okay, you have to be more mature. Start to be involved in a certain company. Some companies regard all their staff as the brand. Dia bukan contoh like Media Prima, not only the personalities, the news readers, the hosts are the brand of the company, the faces of the company. Every single person, sebab semua orang dah ada muka dipaparkan di social media. And then when you read Facebook profile, they work at Media Prima. And it shows that you are a representative of Media Prima. So basically, whatever that you post, it will reflect as a staff, as a worker of that company. So be mindful of what you share lah once you work in the company. Yeah.
Even now, when you're students, when you post something, you're representing UiTM. Don't forget. So you need to jaga nama UiTM lah. My place juga. I do UiTM juga. Okay, but when I look at social media, I'm looking at a few things. I'm checking your spelling. When you write something on your social media, are you making any spelling mistakes or not? Because that sends me a signal whether you are somebody yang very particular about the details. I know it's social media. I know you're having fun. I know you're allowed to use different kind of slangs or whatnot. But I look at the basic words. If you have spelling mistakes in your social media posting, that to me sends a wrong signal. That shows that you are not really that detailed when it comes to your work lah. Okay, in terms of the pictures you post, do you take effort to make sure? There's a lot of tools dalam kan, nak nampak kurus sikit ke, nak nampak handsome sikit ke. So I will look at all those things as well, whether you use the best photos. It's all attention to details. There's people like Ali is perfect in this because he's live on air. The attention to details for him is very important. Tak boleh tiba-tiba on air there's mistakes, spelling mistakes. Of course, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes grammatical mistakes. But the tools that we have nowadays, for example, even when you use Facebook, the spelling you salah, dah keluar that squiggly line merah. So if you don't bother to correct that, it sends me a signal that you don't really care lah kot, even though it's something fun. So like, again, those are the things that I measure when I look at social media lah. Kalau nak friend tak apa, tak nak friend pun tak apa, but I just want to see your overall sense of your attitude lah when it comes to producing content. When it comes to YouTube, it's not my forte as well. I use YouTube a lot, but not professionally. But there's it's a platform where you can showcase your abilities lah. I can't really answer much about the advertising part, but I do know there's a lot of advertising going on YouTube. You can make a living lah if you have your own channels. Apa yang Cik Nom tu, yang masak-masak tu kan. I thought masa dia mula-mula tu, it became such a massive channel on YouTube. There's a lot of good contents on YouTube. It's free for you to explore. Again, it's another fine platform. If you're interested in broadcasting, people like Ali will watch your channel, nak tengok your basic skills. Of course, when you come into Media Prima, you'll be given extra training lah on how to, as a broadcast journalist, you'll be given that training. But we want to see your basic skills, right? So whatever social media platforms you have, I know it's fun. Social media is supposed to be fun, but it also shows your personality lah. LinkedIn, I know it's a popular platform, but that's not a platform that I tengok sangat lah because you are expected to be a professional on that platform. You are expected to have no grammatical errors, good spelling and all that. I nak tengok when you are off guard, when you are not in your element, when you are yourself. So that's why the social media things are important to me. All right.
All right. Okay. So unfortunately, due to time constraints, we have 3 final questions in YouTube. In the chat box. So I'll make it as concise as possible. Okay. First question is, how can we make a strong impression in a virtual interview setting? So because like these days we use like Zoom or Google Meet to interview people, right? Since it's like the new era. And then the second question will be, is it important or proper to ask questions regarding the company or job scope of the position that you're applying as? And to what extent can you ask? Because like we don't want to cross that line, right? And the final question is, how important is extracurricular activity in building a good resume? So I'm so sorry, but answers as concise as possible. I'm so sorry for asking for this. Yeah.
Just quickly answer. I just give you an example of my friend Iskandar. He had a flat tire. He could easily have texted me and say, "Lan, tire pancit lah. Sorry." But he took the trouble to after his ordeal to come online with us today. The perception that I got is really wants to help you guys out. He's a professional. He doesn't give any excuses. So those are the kind of things he's giving in speech while driving. I'm quite worried. But when I saw him in our parking lot, I don't kiss lah. So that's the kind of perception that when you do a Zoom interview, have that kind of message that shows that you are really into this. And I know he's really into this because ramai orang selalu people akan bagi excuse kereta pancit lah, tayar pancit, kereta breakdown. But you can see him driving and trying to explain to you. That shows commitment to any recruiters. Like Ellie?
I think because whatever that comes to you is an opportunity, you know, for you to be recognized, and never sees that as something, and never sees that opportunity lah. You know, always take it. And I'm just going to speak on technical aspect of the virtual interview. Make sure you get good lighting. Okay, I was driving just now, so excuse me of the sunlight being on the front side and the back side and all that lah. Tapi if you have a proper setting, make sure you have a good camera, good lighting, good audio, especially good audio, and try to avoid having people around you lah, because there were times that they can come around because they don't know that you're having an interview session or whatever that you're doing on online, kan? So they will ask you questions and things like that. So try to be as isolated as possible lah, kan? And otherwise, I think all of us are on virtual platform almost every day, kan? Yeah, so it's nothing new to us. Just try to upgrade ourselves lah, as far as technical goes lah. Yeah, I think that will be from that point of view lah. To answer that question. There's another question. Sheila, you want to continue? Sheila?
Yeah, I'm quite good. Any other questions?
I think that's it that we have for today. If we have any other questions, we'll make sure to reach both of you out. I'm sure everyone is aware of it.
Cop.
Yeah.
Ellie nak cakap. Ellie cakap dulu.
Okay. Macam ni. Because this is a 1 hour session, which I think is not enough. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And okay, why don't we have a session, okay, with Omnia Academy? Get all your friends. Let's meet up, your place or our place, and we'll talk about it further.
Yeah.
Sounds good?
Madam Farina.
Madam Farina and Madam Maizura.
Sorry, Dr. apa?
Madam Maizura.
Oh, okay.
There's another lecturer.
Who's the other lecturer?
Both Madam Farina and Madam Maizura are present with us today.
Oh, sorry, Madam Doctor. I nampak Farina je because I kenal dia.
It's okay. It's okay.
Don't worry, it's not present. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't acknowledge you. I thought you were a student.
Yes, I get that a lot as well, Mr. Azlan. They confuse me with students. Yes,
both of you look like a freshman. Sorry.
That's a good idea. Maybe we'll so I will get invitation from Mr. Ellie. Your school, Mr. Ellie. Is it your school? Something like that.
His academy under Media Prima.
Not my academy. That is a Media Prima Academy.
It's a Media Prima's training institution.
Media Training Academy. But we cater to students as well, apart from government agencies, ministries, SIPs. We also cater to students, especially those who aspire to be in the media industry. So, doing this virtually, to some degree, has its limitation, kan? So why don't we? I can go over to your place, and we are sharing session ke apa ke. Boleh je, just hook us up anytime. It's a schedule. Yeah.
I pun nak ikut juga kalau boleh.
You kena ikut jalan.
Sebenarnya kami nak invite datang ke UiTM, especially alumni UiTM kan, Encik Azlan ya. So insyaAllah we'll plan something soon.
Sure, insyaAllah.
Inshallah, Amin. Okay, thank you so much. I'm so sorry to have to cut you both off because we're really such in a time constraint, but we will plan that face-to-face session. I'm really excited for that. So, all right, thank you so much for the questions, everyone, for the great response, both to Mr. Azlan and Mr. Eli. We really appreciate it. I'm sure your tips today will definitely help us shine amongst all other candidates during the job application, the interview, and especially be useful for us when we enter the workforce. Okay, so that's all from me, your moderator today. I'll be passing back the stage to our amazing MC, Akil.
Thank you, Radia, for that expert work as a moderator. Thank you to everyone who asked questions. And of course, 1,000 thank yous to Mr. Azlan and Mr. Ali for both of your indispensable insights and really your invaluable presence today. Ladies and gentlemen, with the end of that Q&A session, our Career Talk Forum, the Professional Etiquette in the Workplace webinar, has drawn to a close. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., whatever your life's work is, do it well. A man should do his job so well that the living, the dead, and the unborn could do it no better. It is our hope that this program has helped to enrich your minds with the knowledge necessary to secure a solid foothold in the future of your employment. Truly, the wise and sageful information will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, while any misinformation is only from us within. All attendees are encouraged to please turn on your video webcams in order to participate in a group photography session with our esteemed guests. So please.
Sir, I seem to have lost my video.
Oh dear.
Is that on purpose, Aaron?
I think the system itself.
Oh,
No, why?
because after 1 hour dia.
Too much. Rosak, kamera rosak. Alright. Let me try to leave and join again. Sekejap ya.
Of course. Take your time. And everyone else is encouraged to please turn on your cameras. Our tech team will be taking the picture, but everyone is encouraged to take a screenshot if you want to. So we will wait for Mr. Azlan in a moment.
The MC has a nice voice.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. I do pride myself with, I guess, a bit of a British accent as well. This is why I decided to become the MC for today.
Good.
Should we just...
What year are you now? Mr.
I'm in my
MC?
fifth semester for, well, second to last semester, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. The internship will be next semester, so yeah, I'm taking my degree, of course. There's Mr. Azlan on his iPhone, it would seem.
Yeah, look better on my iPhone. Boleh adjust sikit.
What is better?
Gitu.
Sekarang nampak kurus sikit.
All right. With that,
everyone ready?
let us okay. 1, 2, 3. Smile for the camera, everyone. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2. Freestyle, perhaps. 1, 2, 3. All right. With that, this has been your host, Amirul Akib bin Amran.
And me, Radia Auni binti Ruzan Wilson, the event moderator.
Thanking you all for your attendance for our forum today. The link for the program attendance has been given within the Zoom meeting chat box to be signed at your leisure. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A fond farewell and wabillah tawfiq hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you all.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.